Welcome, friends, on this beautiful, joyful Wisdom Pause Saturday. I'm Renee McLaughlin, and I am joined with my dearest bestie, Monica Goos. And we are here to explore today the idea of thinking, what it is, how we might be able to really shift out so that we can really come from the heart. And today, just to begin this, let's all bring ourselves really present by taking our 3 deep breaths. So do this with us. Let's all be from that same center place. Inhaling through the nose, you might even want to put your hand on that lower belly. You want to take a deep belly breath. Get a big gulpful, and then out through the mouth. Visualize it as you inhale. Do it with me. Like it's water, you're drawing it all the way up the mountain. And then exhale, just let it flow back down. And one more beautiful inhale. Let it flow on out. Just taking that wisdom pause to notice how now we're not in our heads thinking. We're here at our heart, right where our soul actually resides, between the heart and the breastbone. What a beautiful pause. So this week, Monica and I decided it would be a great idea to really start talking about the universal habits that we humans have. Because most of us, it's so habitual that we don't even have a conscious recognition of what it is we're doing as we're going through our day. It's just rote. And we can't change and really start to explore what it's really like to come from our self when we're busy with all our habits. And so the very first, number one, biggest universal habit on the planet is thinking. And I know when I first was brought this whole concept of thinking versus the non-thinking, it blew my mind. And it blew my mind because I was like, I don't understand. Like I don't get, how do you not think? Like, the whole idea of doing and think, like, it really took me many years to really begin to have a concept. And then we get to RJ Spina's work, and he just brings it down to such an easy way to understand it and then to work with it. And and just what we just did, sinking us down to here, you can just see that, I call thinking the voices in my head. And I don't know if that's helpful for anybody else, but for me, thinking is the voices in my head. All that yammering constantly, and recognizing that these voices, number one, have never said, Renee, good girl, you're doing great. It's never said, oh, look at her. Isn't that a cute haircut? Or I might say, oh, isn't that a cute haircut? Judge, judge, judge. But jealousy, wish I had it, all the crap that goes on. It just goes on. And until we make it where we recognize, oh, like, what is that even? And so RJ just says, and this is the truth, it's simply old programming. It's your memory. It's our memory. And then all the future thoughts are just projections, but none of this is coming from what is happening in this moment. And he says our whole life has been memorized. It's been memorized from the very beginning, i.e., these are from his teachings in his book, Change Your Mind. It's like, when you're young, you see a cup, you know that the cup is meant to be drunk from. Got that, right? You know, this is a chair. Sit your tush in the chair. So over time, we memorize things that we need to know, become subconscious, so that we don't have to use our conscious mind to be able to go through our life, right? I'm going to use another great one, driving. We kind of have memorized how to drive over time and practice, i.e., yeah, you get in your car and before you know it, you're someplace. And you didn't have to think about driving. No, you were busy with the voices in your head, not the driving. So our subconscious has all that taken care of for us. We don't have to think about that. So I have some other things to talk about with that, but with that introduction, Monica, just love some of your takeaways and insights about it.
Yeah. So when I first encountered, RJ's teaching about, stop thinking, there's not a box in our finite mind to put that in, you know. But what I've learned over, past year and a half of really working with these teachings is that, there's this thing that he refers to as the ego mind identity, also electromagnetic interference. And you would talk about it as the voices in your head. Well, the electromagnetic interference, it's like that when you're driving along and you got a radio station on. Remember back when we used to listen to the radio in the car, and you drive out of the range of the antenna, and you get all this static. You get all this, and then there's a point where it gets, it could be your favorite song is on, but the static is so bad, you just have to do something about it and try and find another radio station. So that's kind of what that constant, like you call it the voices in your head, right? So it's that static, it's that constant static, it's that constant nagging you for your attention, because our life force energy, the most precious thing that we have, is our life force energy. And there's always something vying to sap that and drain us of that. That's what all of the drama and chaos out there is about. It's about hooking your attention. And how do they do it? By getting you to think, by getting you to think about what they're showing you and then emotionalize over it. So the foundation of all of his teachings is normalized presence. What does normalized presence mean? It means silence the mind, stop thinking, shut up the voices in your head. And I love that he gives us what he refers to as instantaneous magic tricks. They give us, it takes you into meditation in 1 second. And the one I'm going to offer right now, I know is one of your favorites, and it's really apropos for where we are in the world right now. And that is just watch everything like it's a boring movie, because that will not hook your attention. And it will, I love that you started our session today with the 3 deep breaths. He starts almost everything with, let's do 3 deep breaths together, because it gets us centered, focused, calm, and quiets the mind. So normalizing presence. And yeah, I mean, when you begin to have an experience of a silent mind, and just having an experience of observing what's happening, observing your life, and not analyzing and judging it. Because, we always do that, like analyze. I say everything we see, we're analyzing. And it's just like, it's a bad habit. And we've been habituated to this, and it serves the agenda of keeping us disempowered, because it's sucking the energy and the life force from us. When we do these instantaneous magic tricks, what it does is it actually brings your energy back to you. And our gas tank, he tells us, it's in the Dantian point, which is just below the navel and above the groin. That's our gas tank. So when we do the instantaneous magic tricks, like I think one you used this week in your wisdom, your joyful pauses was, pretend your two eyes are floating in space, not connected to your brain. When you do that, you begin to, you're disconnecting that thinking, that constant chatter in the mind, and it brings silence. And when the more that we do that, the more space that we begin to get from that electromagnetic interference or the ego mind identity, however you want to look at it. And that will give us, it gives us, so, and then people think, well, if I stop thinking, then I can't get anything done. No, it's actually the opposite. When you are not thinking and you're in the present moment, that's when you're open and able to receive your wisdom and guidance that flows on the river of intuition that comes from your higher mind. See, when we're thinking, we're actually accessing the past, what we've learned and memorized, and think we know something because we learned it and memorized it. Now, let's remember that just about everything that had ever been thought to be the truth has turned out to be wildly inaccurate over hundreds of years. And I have heard RJ say that everything you guys are hanging your hat on now, years from now is going to be proven inaccurate. So why bother with all that when we are in the present moment and receiving that wisdom and guidance from the higher mind, which has access to all of the has access to everything. We will never go wrong when that is how we begin to function. And I have to say, after, like I said, a year and a half now, really, really working with these teachings and getting to the place of really normalizing presence. So it's a whole different experience. There's such a calm, such a peace, such a just a knowing that we're connected to the source of the all that is. It's a beautiful thing. Certainly worth the effort.
It's really interesting. One of the words that you used, I kind of got a bit of a hit from, that we're operating from the higher mind. And I think there is a tendency to think the brain equals higher mind. Thinking is higher mind. They're not the same things. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but this is just coming from presence. There's another wisdom teacher that I'll just give some of the truths that he really brought forth that sometimes really is helpful for me. So I'm going to share it. And it's David Hawkins. I love David Hawkins. And he wrote a seminal book. He wrote Power versus Force. And he created what he calls the map of consciousness. The reason that I love this is because he put all of this into an understanding of frequency. So, of course, RJ's website is Ascend Frequencies. And so David Hawkins explains about the lower frequencies, the emotion, etc., and he goes up the frequency band. Thinking, and typically what we tend to think about, is really low frequency, and it will hold you down in low frequency. And what we focus on, or where we place our attention, is where energy goes and flows, and what you get more of. So those are really meany things, aren't they? Where you place your attention. No, I hear people say that all the time, but really never stop and pause and feel into, what does that really mean? And how can you take that wisdom into your life and reap, the flowering of that? That's what we're talking about, is frequency, not just a bunch of words. So where are you placing your attention? Are you allowing the voices in your head to draw your attention there? Now, I say this to say this, and Monica, maybe you have a different thing. Our habits are so the thinking habit is so ingrained in that brain. I mean, neurologically, that's deep. So when Monica and I are talking about using these instantaneous magic tricks, and they work, they will stop all the thinking, but you can get so angry at yourself because it's like, okay, I stopped it for 3 seconds and then boom, the voice is in our head. Okay,
Do it again.
do it again.
Do it again. Do it again. I did it one time for 3.5 hours straight. And after the 3.5 hours, it's like a lead blanket was lifted off of me. It was, RJ always says that the truth is immediate and tangible. And that was tangible. But, like I said, it's so we have been habituated to this. We have been habituated to this, and we are expending our life force energy, feeding this thinking monkey mind. And it's only in that silence that we can experience even our life at all. I mean, our we only exist. The I am presence, which is the higher mind, which is our connection to our source creator, that resides in the now moment. When you're constantly thinking, which is a movement of the past, or thinking always happens, um, in relation to something else that you've already identified with. So when we're always thinking about something in relation to something else, and then we have these ideas that we throw into the future. So that's how the future is just a movement of the past. And that's the domain of the ego mind identity. The ego mind identity exists in the past and future. It doesn't exist in the present moment. So when you're in that present moment, then all of that electromagnetic interference, all that static is gone. And when it's a very simple thing. Actually, RJ there is a meditation workshop that he did that is an online course. It was like an hour and a half long course. It's all about the meditation magic tricks. It's a meditation. If you really want to go deep, just get that. It's super affordable, and learn how to do these and apply them. Or just get the books, get the books that they all, talk about the magic tricks, or just listen to the interviews that are on YouTube. He's got hundreds and hundreds of them, and he's always sharing magic tricks, because it's that being in the present moment and simply allowing the divine to experience this realm through our eyes. That's the deal, right? And when you do that, there's such a lightness and a joy, because you're moving that high frequency energy of the divine, allowing that. And we're really, we're easing God out, really, when we're just always in that reactive mind of think. No. And it feels very different. The energetic quality of being present is entirely different than allowing the monkey mind to run rampant.
It absolutely is. And thank you for that. Just beautiful, beautiful. And I just want to say, for those of us who are, especially if you're just kind of really immersing yourself in this information, the one thing that can really, like, I know for myself, let me make it personal because that's all I really know, right? Is, I have a my character, Renee, has a personality trait that is she wants to always do it right. And do it right. It's a doing. So when I really start processing and working with the teachings, when I find that, oh, there she goes again, she's up in her head, I used to get mad, which, like, I do this right, you know? And that's it, the exact opposite. That you're just it, right? So compassion, Monica said a beautiful thing. She just kept, go back to it, go back to it. No judging. There's the judgment. That's ego, mind, identity, judging the judging. It's, I mean, it's so, and it can be subtle, but really powerful. So if that's you and you're like, oh, ladies, I've been trying, listen to the word, and I just can't stop those voices. You know what? You might not be able right away to stop the voices. That's not the point. The point is, where are you placing your attention? You can't stop life. Where are you placing your attention? And when you recognize that, there it goes again, it's been hijacked. Oh,
Yeah, one of my favorite tricks to use when I feel that happening, that I'm back in my head, is one of them is for, the head, the eyes, the ears, that's just where just it's a periscope. So the I am presence, the captain is deep down in the ship, you know, um, and when you're just looking through the eyes, as a like a periscope, there's no computer behind the periscope. So there's no thinking. There's only noticing, observing, seeing, smelling, hearing, and that
no judgment. Thank you. Just
no judgment, no analyzing, no analyzing, no judging, just simply having the experience and being in the moment. And it's so powerful. It's so powerful.
that to me is the essence, really. It is so powerful. And I really practice this. And I'd like to share something that maybe also a lot of you can experience too, or work with. When we meet a person, let's just say, I'm going to use it down to a person that we have had interaction with in our past, and we have had a judgment around the experience and the person. I don't care if it's what you would judge as positive or negative, it doesn't matter. It's still a judgment that you have memorized. And now you're seeing the person, they're now in your present moment, to make it about that present moment. There you are, experiencing them from that moment without judging, without bringing in the old memory of it, being present and really experiencing, listening if they're speaking to them from these fresh eyes. Not sitting here thinking, okay, now how am I going to say it, and getting all defensive about it, and oh, I just know they're just about to say something that I don't, all that's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, no longer projecting onto them what you and not having an expectation. We have these, that's another really bad habit, is these expectations and projecting. And it's like when when you're able to be present with someone, like you just, one of the magic tricks is pretend you just arrived here. No past, no future. So I love how you like incorporate that into when you haven't seen someone in a while, and you have a new experience of them. Because let's face it, people, I've always heard it said, well, people don't change. Rubbish. Everyone changes all the time, and we're in a cycle where humanity is evolving its consciousness so rapidly that you're actually doing a disservice to someone if you meet them and project onto them your memories of how they were in the past, because that's not who they are now. Meet them heart to heart where you are now, with love and compassion, and everything changes. There's no expectations, there's no blame about something that might have happened in the past, that just and it's a far more beautiful way to interact with each other.
Oh, I love that. And so much more joy and love actually comes out of that. Um, and I would ask as well, for those of you listening, that if you have had an experience of me over the years, just know that I'm not the same either.
Yeah.
We could just keep going with this concept. Um, but I think we've given enough of a deep dive on thinking. Play with this. We could just go on and on because there's just so much depth with just this one universal habitual concept. So, Monica, thank you so much for joining in today. And thank you all for watching, hopefully commenting. Use these tools and please comment. You know, we would really love to make this not the Renee and Monica show, but thank goodness, but to continue to create a community of us who are all practicing. This is how we will truly impact the world that we are living in and raise, ascend the frequencies.
Yep. And Renee will she'll pin some how to get in touch with us and
Absolutely.
how to interact and participate more with us. I know I have a couple of study groups, and I'm always open to start some more. So yeah, follow some of the links and learn more about what we're doing and how we're sharing these really are the supreme teachings that will help humanity to become liberated from all the insanity that's happening here, because it's not happening in the higher mind.
Beautiful, beautiful said. And
Thank
sending
you, Renee.
much love to you, Monica, and to all of you watching.
Thanks. Always fun.
Oh,
Bye.
bye.